My name is Ken Armstrong. I'm the President and CEO of North Arrow Minerals, and the purpose of this presentation is to introduce you to North Arrow and our portfolio of diamond exploration opportunities in Canada. The presentation will include some forward-looking statements, so it's important that you familiarize yourself with the contents of this slide. Diamond exploration in Canada first started in the early 1990s, and we really have about 20 years of exploration experience in Canada. However, more recently, most exploration companies have either turned their focus entirely on their flagship projects to try and see them through development, or they've fallen off the table as access to capital for true exploration endeavors has become quite difficult. In the fall of 2012, North Arrow went through a process to reorganize itself to take advantage of an opportunity to pull together some very compelling exploration properties in Canada and combine them with an experienced management team that has had a great deal of success in the diamond space in Canada and around the world, and to complete an initial financing to allow us to move those projects forward and fully evaluate them. Our current corporate structure is shown on this slide. We have just over 31 million shares fully diluted. Management and directors currently own over 22% of the company, and our largest single shareholder is the Lundin Family Trust. Management of the company has a lot of diamond experience, primarily in Canada, but also around the world. I won't go through the background of everybody involved with the company, but in large part it's the team that led to the discovery of the Diavik kimberlites in the Northwest Territories. Gren Thomas is our chairman. He's a member of the Canadian Mining Hall of Fame. Dr. Chris Jennings is on our board, who's also involved in the discovery of Diavik. Through his involvement with Southern Era, also has diamond mining experience in Southern Africa. Ira Thomas is an advisor to the company and brings her experience with both Stornoway Diamonds and Lactra Diamonds, two junior companies that have successfully advanced diamond assets through to development, and in the case of Lactra, into mining. So the opportunity that we saw for North Arrow is to pull together a number of diamond exploration projects in Canada that have already had a significant amount of money spent on them at a time when there's not a whole lot of diamond exploration happening, and yet we need to find more diamonds. The market fundamentals for the commodity remain quite strong. So North Arrow has four primary diamond projects. Collectively, they've seen over $40 million of previous exploration expenditure. Our Lactra project is an option and joint venture agreement with Dominion Diamonds. It's over 300,000 acres that tie immediately onto the southern boundary of the Diavik diamond mine. And Dominion is currently conducting over a $1.3 million exploration program there right now. The other three properties were all acquired from Stornoway earlier this spring, and North Arrow has the option to earn an 80% interest in each of them by completing a predefined exploration program. Each of the options are distinct and separate from the others. The Piku project is in Saskatchewan, where North Arrow is currently conducting a first ever drilling program. The Kilaluga project in Nunavut represents a more advanced project. There is a resource there. It's a very large resource, and the next stage is to collect a larger sample in order to get enough diamonds to get a full evaluation of what the value is on those stones, and I'll talk about why we think that could be quite important. And then the Temiskaming project in Ontario and Quebec, there are 6 kimberlites that are located on the project, and it has a very extensive exploration database, and we think the opportunity is very strong for there to be further discoveries at that project. So at Piku, one of the things that really attracted North Arrow to the project was the mineral chemistry, so the composition of the actual mineral trains that have been defined on the property. We see on this slide the two areas that have been defined, the North Piku area and the South Piku area. There was a little bit of kimberlite float found in the North Piku region in 2012, and that is the same area where the first drill hole of the current program intersected kimberlite quite recently. One of the reasons, as I mentioned, with mineral chemistry, the pyrope chemistry, the pyrope garnet chemistry that we see in the indicator trains is really quite attractive. As you can see in the lower right corner of this slide, there's a plot of the garnet chemistry from Piku. It plots the chrome content and the calcium content of the garnets that have been discovered in these indicator trains. And what we quite like about it is that the bulk of the garnets lie along a sloping line that you can see on the diagram. And that line is sort of the divider between what are called G9 and G10 garnets in diamond exploration vernacular. And in essence, the concepts are that the G10 garnets, which lie to the left of that line, are the kind of garnets that we want to find. And more importantly, you want to see garnets with high chrome contents or a lot of chrome in them relative to other garnets. And you can see there's a cluster of 4 or 5 garnets that have come from the Piku area that do have very high chrome contents. And what's important about that for us is the fact that it indicates that those garnets have come from well within the diamond stability field. As mentioned, there's been a number of till sampling programs conducted on the property, and this slide gives an idea of the spread of those till samples and also shows the location of the kimberlite float that was discovered in 2012. And the indicator minerals that have been identified in this area, which is the North Piku area, the important thing to take away from this is that the samples on the north half of the map area don't have any indicators in them, and the samples on the south half do. And so what we interpret this to mean when we see indicators in one area and not another is that those indicator minerals are what we call very well cut off. They're not found to the north in the up ice direction. They are found to the south in the down ice direction, and that gives us some confidence that the source for those indicators must be local. And as finding the kimberlite float in 2012 was another positive indicator. And we've in fact confirmed that by drilling kimberlite in the current program with our very first drill hole. And that drill hole was located at the head of the indicator train that's defined on the east side of the river that we see on this map. We're testing that area first because of the red pies that we see here would represent garnets, and as I mentioned, it's the garnet mineral chemistry that we're quite keen on. In the South Piku area, it's a very similar situation. We have a very well-defined indicator mineral train. It's a little bit longer than what we see in the North Piku area, but there's a number of targets that we're going to be testing at South Piku as part of the current drilling program, which will carry on through to the end of July and possibly into August. The Lactra project, as we mentioned, it's over 300,000 acres. It ties immediately onto the Diavik mine property just to the south of it. And this is in a region where some of the richest diamond deposits in the world are located at both the Ekati and the Diavik diamond mines. It's a very large package, a very large property, and it's in an area to the south of Lactra where I think it's become recognized that the till cover is quite complicated, and it's not as straightforward as perhaps in other areas of the Slave, and in particular to the north of the claim package. And to that end, Dominion, which is Dominion Diamonds, who are currently working to earn a 55% interest in the property by spending the first $5 million in exploration, they're conducting an overburden drilling program using a technique that's been utilized by Dominion on the Diavik claim block and applying it now to the Lactra property to the south. And we will have some results and should have some information on the outcome of that program towards the end of the summer and into the fall. The Kilaluga project is another one of the properties that's under option from Stornoway. It is a more advanced project. It has a resource on it in the Q1-4 kimberlite that was first discovered by BHP in the 2000s. It's a large kimberlite at over 12 hectares, and it's located within 7 kilometers of tidewater and only 9 kilometers from the community of Repulse Bay. The Q1-4 kimberlite does have a resource, and in May of 2013, North Arrow reconfirmed the previously reported resource of Stornoway's at 48 million tons, having an average grade of over 53 carats per 100 tons, so that's about a half carat per ton of rock, and a total inventory of over 26 million carats, and further upside to expand the size of the deposit in the form of a target for further exploration when we conduct further drilling to depth. The Q1-4 resource, I think it's important to point out that it's actually quite a large resource. In the contained inventory of 26 million carats, it compares quite favorably to some of the other more advanced diamond projects in the world, as well as some of the producing mines and diamond deposits that are already in production. And similarly, at a grade of over a half carat per ton, the grade is quite good as well, and also compares quite favorably to some of the more advanced projects in the world and some of the current producers. But the one piece of information that we don't have from the Q1-4 kimberlite is diamond value, and that's what we like to consider the third leg on the stool that's required to actually define a diamond deposit. We have the tonnage, we know how large the deposit is, or we have a very good idea in our inferred resource, the contained carats and the grade of the deposit, but we don't know what the overall diamond value is. And the next stage then for Kilaluga is to get up to the property, collect a large enough sample to get enough carats to get a valuation. And if that valuation is positive and is high enough, then it could become quite an important project for North Arrow. And one of the aspects of the current diamond parcel that we're really quite positive on is the fact that of the current parcel, which is just over about 50 carats in total, there is a population of yellow diamonds. And the experts who have looked at these diamonds have described them as being fully saturated and really having a potential to be what would be termed yellow fancy stones. And if there is a population of yellow fancies in the Q1 to 4 kimberlite, then that could have a really positive impact on the the overall value of the diamonds in the deposit. Luckily, we actually have a comparable that we can look to when we're trying to quantify and get an idea of just how important yellows could be. The Ellendale mine in Australia is currently being developed and mined by Kimberley Diamonds. Kimberley currently has an offtake agreement with a subsidiary company of Tiffany's to sell all of their yellow stones. And the mine currently produces about half of all of the yellow fancy diamonds produced in the world. And they comprise about 9 to 16% of the overall mine production. And to give an indication of just how important these diamonds could be, in the first quarter of 2013, Tiffany purchased Ellendale's yellow diamond production for almost $5,500 per carat. And Ellendale's not a very high-grade deposit at only 4 carats per 100 tons as compared to Q1 to 4, which is 54 carats per 100 tons. So that really gives an idea that a very low-grade deposit having some very high-value stones can still be mined and money can be made. So with that information and that comparable from Ellendale, we can put together a couple of case studies on how a sort of theoretical diamond deposit might look if it has a population of yellow fancies in it. On the left-hand side, you can see a case where if you had a diamond mine where there's 5% of the overall production are yellow fancy diamonds, they could account for almost 2/3 of the overall value of production from the deposit, just using some reasonable estimates for the price of the commercial goods and the yellow stones in the deposit, and at a very reasonable and very high overall valuation of almost $350 per carat. And if you were to increase the proportions of yellows to 10%, then you're up to almost 80% of the overall value in the mine is being carried in those yellow stones. So the way forward for Kilaluga then is clearly to get up onto the property and collect a 1,000 to 1,500 ton mini bulk sample from the Q1 to 4 kimberlite. It'll probably cost us about $3.5 million to do that, but we'll end up with a diamond parcel of over 500 carats, and that'll allow us to get a proper valuation of the stones and get a real indication of whether the yellow stones that we see in the current parcel extend into the larger size fractions and whether they could have a very positive impact on the overall diamond valuation for the property. Because if they do, then I think that Kilaluga could very quickly become an important diamond development project in the world. The Temiskaming project in Ontario is one where we've actually completed the work program to vest at an 80% interest in the project from Stornoway. There are 6 known kimberlites on the property, as well as a very extensive database that we'll be going through and evaluating additional targets. With the road access in this region, we think it's a very attractive place to conduct diamond exploration, and the availability of infrastructure just helps to lower the threshold of the size and grade and value of a deposit that you might need to find in order to be economic. And the last sort of component of North Arrow's current business plan is to really try and leverage off the fact that there has been 25 odd years of diamond exploration work done in Canada, and that means that there's been a lot of data collected, and a lot of that information is available in public data sets and government assessment files, as well as in our own company databases. And with the fall off in diamond exploration over the last several years, there's very little competition to try and acquire and evaluate these targets. So there's a number of unexplained kimberlite indicator mineral trains that we've identified, other geophysical type targets that need further evaluation, and we're in the process of acquiring some of these right now, and hope to be able to announce some of these acquisitions in the very near future. And looking at the way forward for North Arrow for the remainder of this year, we have the drilling program at Piku, which is underway and will carry on through to the end of July. We have an initial success there with the discovery of kimberlite, making it a new kimberlite locality in Canada. The exploration program that's being funded by Dominion at Lactra, which is really the premier diamond district in the world and a fantastic place to be exploring. There'll be news flow from both of those projects as we move into the fall. and at that time we'll also be working on our planning for the bulk sampling program at the Kilaluga project in the summer of 2014, where we'll be looking to get enough diamonds and really see if those yellow diamonds are present in the larger size fractions, all at a time when there is not much activity happening in the diamond exploration space. And so positioning North Arrow as a vehicle that is active, well-funded, and evaluating a number of projects that are at a number of different stages along the development path. Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation. North Arrow trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol NAR. My contact details are on the slide if you have any additional questions and want to contact me. And I look forward to keeping you informed of our progress on our projects.